Welcome to Exploring Judaism's podcast, Holiday Bites. We are talking about Hanukkah. I'm excited and grateful to be talking to my friend and my colleague, Rabbi Lindsey Healey-Pollack. Why don't you start by introducing yourself to us?
I'm Rabbi Lindsey Healey-Pollack from Englewood, New Jersey. I serve as rabbi of Congregation Kol Haneshama here in Englewood, and I'm also an educator and program coordinator for the Center for Conversion to Judaism at Town and Village Synagogue in New York City.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit about a piece of Torah on Hanukkah that inspires you.
So there's a story in the Talmud, in a section of the Talmud called Masechet Avodah Zarah, that roots the celebration of Hanukkah in human experience and in our response to the world around us. So the rabbis in the Talmud are aware of celebrations in other cultures that happen around this time of year, around the winter solstice, the darkest time of the year. And they notice that this is when Hanukkah happens as well. So in the story, Adam, the first human being, starts to panic as he notices the days getting shorter in the wintertime. He is certain that the world is ending, that everything's going to go back to chaos and disorder, just as it was before God started to create the world. But then, once it turns that corner, the winter solstice arrives and the days start getting longer again. He understands, oh, actually, this is just the way of the world. That from this point of greatest darkness, we begin to grow again into light. So, according to the Talmud, Adam then marks this time of every year as an 8-day festival. And yes, this is a response to what we're experiencing in our surroundings here in the Northern Hemisphere in this time of year. And it's a way of engaging with our desire for comfort, for light and warmth on a physical level at this time of darkness and quiet. But I think this teaching also mirrors and reflects our inner landscape too, that it is in the moments when we feel the darkest, when we're actually maybe just around the corner from coming back into the light, coming back into hope and a sense of expansiveness again. And it's from the point of deepest darkness sometimes that we can actually notice and appreciate the light when it does come. We can see a candle lit in the darkness better than we can in a light-filled room, for example.
I love that. What is a core lesson that you are taking into Hanukkah or you're taking from Hanukkah this year?
So a core lesson that I'm taking with me into Hanukkah this year is just to remember and acknowledge, kind of inspired by the text that I just shared, that this is a dark time of year, that I may not be feeling at my most energetic right now, and that's okay. As the writer Catherine May so beautifully phrases it, this is a season of wintering. And I can focus my intention on bringing maybe just a little bit more light into my life and my home by lighting one more candle each day at a time throughout the days of Hanukkah. And that Hanukkah doesn't have to just be about big gatherings or giving lots of gifts. It could also be a time of gathering and strengthening our inner resources in light and just starting to take things step by step.
How can someone make Hanukkah meaningful this year, especially when, for lots of folks, there are really complex family dynamics at play? What would you recommend? What would you suggest for folks?
Yeah, so Hanukkah and holidays in general can definitely be a really challenging time. Everyone's situation is a little bit different, but I would suggest remembering that there are 8 nights of Hanukkah. Maybe you'll be spending some of those nights with family and the celebrations may not quite be your ideal, or it might bring up some difficult feelings, or maybe you don't have family that you feel like you can celebrate with this year. So to think about, how can you fill the other nights of Hanukkah with light for yourself? And I recommend trying to make a plan in advance to think about and support what you might need to feel balanced and grounded amidst some of the difficult emotions and experiences that could come up. What would feel good for you? Do you need a quiet night that's focused on lighting the candles and maybe just saying the blessings for yourself, which is a perfectly good and valid way to celebrate Hanukkah? Or would you like to invite friends and neighbors to bring favorite foods and celebrate together with you? Would celebrating with chosen family feel like a good counterpoint to some of these other gatherings that you might be having. And even though it might feel like the world around us is really chaotic this time of year, as there are other holiday celebrations going on and other traditions throughout this whole season, our Hanukkah celebration can really be as simple or as elaborate as we need and want it to be. So keeping that in mind, that it doesn't have to be either or, that we can try to carve out a little bit of space for ourselves to have the kind of experience that we're going to find most meaningful, even while we're having these other experiences that we might feel are important to be present with family, but there also can be space for what we need as well.
If you could give one gift to every Jew in the world, what would it be?
So this is such a rabbi answer, but I would give a chumash, a copy of the 5 books of the Torah with each individual's name inscribed in it, which is a way of saying what I would really love to give every Jew is the knowledge that the Torah is yours, that it's yours to learn from, it's yours to ask questions about, and it's yours to bring your own amazing insights to. I wish that could be true in some way for every person.
Is there anything else about Hanukkah you feel like people should know?
I'm sure there are a lot of things, right? But the thing that's coming up for me, really, that I think is connected with some of my responses to the other questions is that even though many of the people watching this are probably living in places where the surrounding culture is very holiday focused and very focused on gift giving and on large gatherings and all of those kinds of things, Hanukkah is actually a minor holiday in the Jewish calendar, by which I mean not that it's not important, but if that gives any sense of relief to anyone who's thinking about this time of year, then I want to offer that, because it really does not have to be something that adds to our stress. If you love having big gatherings and parties, then yes, I would love for you to celebrate in that way. But if that's something that stresses you out, it does not need to be that way. It really doesn't. And that this holiday can be adapted and adjusted to be in tune and in line with the kind of celebration that you feel like you need at this time of year.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your kindness for everybody who's going to be celebrating Hanukkah in some way. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.